Okay.
Right?
Okay.
All right, Shalom Israel. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. We teach that the so-called Hispanics, we lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And today we continue the second day of the Feast of Purim. You know, it's a feast, a memorial for what our forefathers have done in commemoration of that. We started yesterday in the book of S in the Old Testament, all right, where we basically got the gist of the story of what actually happened, how this Amalekite, who is a so-called Jewish man today, you know, tried to exterminate us as a people whilst we were in captivity under the Persian and Medes Empire at that time. King Xerxes, or Assurus, sometimes how it is pronounced in depending on the verse. We were under that captivity, the Persian and Medes captivity, and during that time, there was a plot to destroy all of us as a nation. And we celebrate that victory because at the end, they delivered us out of the hands of our enemy. And today, we're just going to continue to read, not just from the end of Esther, which is Esther chapter 10, right? But we're going to also go into the Apocrypha and get the account that is written in the Apocrypha so that we will be able to get basically the same story, but from different aspects. And also go through the prayer that Esther prayed to the Most High while she was in the 3 days of fasting and praying. So we're going to go to the book of Esther, chapter 10.
Okay. Book of Esther, chapter 10 and verse 1. And the king Assurus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia?
That's right. And also, it's like there was an article in terms of the actual, they call it a stele, you know, those stone tablets that they have history written on. I believe there was an account where his name, Mordecai, was actually mentioned as an important figure in that Persian and Medes Empire. So there's actual facts. But that paper, have to pull up that particular research to further confirm it. Continue.
Can. Verse 3. For Mordecai the Jew was not unto King Assurus, and the great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace unto all his seed.
And this is something really important that we should even continue to do today. Because today we see our black leaders, you understand, in high seats of power. But guess what? They do not seek the wealth of their people. They seek the wealth of themselves. And today we're going to see a man, a mighty man of the Most High, who was in a high position of power. Just as how Joseph was in a high position of power in Egypt and also looked after the well-being of his people. And this is what we say, if so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians really follow these scriptures, we as a nation will rise above every other nation on the face of the earth. And we will not be at the bottom. But because we follow Christianity, and our black leaders, Hispanic and Native Indian leaders follow Christianity, which is really white supremacy, it suppresses our people.
Right.
And keeps us at the bottom of every economic and social ladder that is on the earth today.
Right.
But when our King Yahushua has returned, everything will be established according to order.
Right.
From this drop, let's go to the Apocrypha, which is really the continuation of this story. in the editions of Esther and the Apocrypha. And the Apocrypha was also part of the original King James Bible 1611, which has 14 other books. It is 1st and 2nd Ezra's, Tobit, Judith, editions of Esther, which we're going to read here now. Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, Baruch, Letter of Jeremiah, Prayer of Azariah, Susanna, Bel and the Dragon, which is an account of Daniel, Prayer of Manasseh, and 1st and 2nd Maccabees. 1st and 2nd Maccabees also fills in the gap between the so-called Old Testament and New Testament when we were under the Greek captivity. All right? So we're going to continue now the story in the editions of Esther in the Apocrypha and really get, an additional understanding of what took place and how we were delivered in that time by the Most High.
Okay. Additions of Esther, chapter 10, verse 4. Salakia. Then Mardochai said, the Most High had done these things, for I remember a dream which I saw concerning these matters, and nothing thereof had failed. A little fountain became a river, and there was light, and the sun, and much water. This river is Esther, whom the king married and made queen.
So you see here where the Most High continues to show to his prophets through dreams and visions. And only the men of the Most High, only the men in the I.S.U.P.K, only the men especially of Israel have that connection with the Most High. You have to be a priest and a prophet of the Most High in the I.S.U.P.K. If you are not in the I.S.U.P.K, you are not in the truth. Point blank. Continue.
And the two dragons are I and Aman. And the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. And my nation is this, Israel, which cried to the Most High and was saved. For the Lord had saved his people, and the Lord had delivered us from all those evils. And the Most High had wrought signs and great wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles.
Go ahead, continue.
Therefore had he made two lots, one for people of the Most High, and the other for all the Gentiles. And those two lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before the Most High among all nations. So the Most High remembered his people and justified his inheritance.
So we're going to see where the Most High, where Mordecai got a dream. And it was only until after the account that, he really understood fully what the dream meant. So you're seeing where in verse 6 it said, a little fountain became a river, and there was light and sun, and the sun, and much water. And this river is Esther, with whom the king married and made queen. So you see, even just as of Esther, was that river, even today, commanding General YAHANNA, who leads Israel, is going to be like that river to help support, heal, and nurture the nation of Israel today.
Right.
Where he's raising young men. And I want to say congrats to all the officers who were raised, just want to say to Wada, and it's only because of the righteousness of the Most High through our King Yahawashi and commanding General YAHANNA, who have been raising mighty men since 1969 in this truth. You're going to see today where righteous young men in the I.S.U.P.K is going to take over and rule this nation of Israel. We're going to bring back our people out of hell through the guidance of our King Yahawashi, through the Most High, and through the man who's leading Israel now, commanding General YAHANNA. Continue.
Verse 13. Therefore, those days shall be unto them in the month Adar, the 14th and 15th day of the same month, with an assembly and joy, and with gladness before the Most High, according to the generations forever among his people.
So you see, this day that we are celebrating here, and yesterday was an amazing time being together with the Akim and the Aquathian. So you see where that togetherness, because we are that people, as Zephaniah says, Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourself together.
Okay.
One nation are desired. Yeah, Babu Kusha, somebody pull that, please. It's a commandment. It's something that we're supposed to do as often as you can to share and to be around one another.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
What?
Gather yourselves together.
Gather yourself together. Why?
Yea. Gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. Because these other nations hate us. That is why they want to destroy us in the first place. They cannot stand to see us be the salt of the earth. And in every nation, every captivity, there's always somebody who is trying to destroy us and eradicate us. But because we are under the cover of the Most High, because we are the only people who have a covenant with the Most High, we will always have a righteous seed to save his people. Every work that is done by righteous priests and prophets of the Most High, and righteous women who the Most High at times, I say, when they are being so-called prophetess, but they also do not usurp the authority and go to the prophets, the men of the Most High, and get understanding of what to do in times of crisis.
Right.
Continue. That's it. On Zephaniah.
Go to verse 2.
Yeah.
Can. Verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as a shaft, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you. So this is why we're supposed to gather together as one. That is why as we are in hell right now, our enemies, our oppressors want us separated. Because they know once we gather together in one, the Most High is in the midst of that. Continue.
Can. Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon us. Now jump that, let's go back to Esther.
Can. Additions of Esther, chapter 11, verse 1. In the 4th year of the reign of Polytamus and Cleopatra, Dositius, who said he was a priest and a Levite, and Ptolemy, his son, brought his epistle of Purim, which they said was the same, and the Lysimach and son of Polytamus that was in Jerusalem had interpreted it. In the 2nd year of the reign of Artaxerxes the Great, in the 5th Salakia, in the 1st day of the month of Nisan, Mordecai, the son of Jairus, and the son of Simei, and the son of Sisera, of the tribe of Benjamin, had a dream.
Now this is giving the account where Mordecai got the vision or got the dream that this so-called destruction or this so-called event would have taken place. And when he got this vision, the Most High showed him in a strange way. Because at that time, he didn't fully understand what the dream meant. Continue.
Khan, who was a Jew and dwelt in the city of Susa, a great man, being a servitor of the king's court. He was also one of the captives which Nebuchadnezzar and the king of Babylon carried from Jerusalem with Jehoiakim, king of Judea. And this was his dream.
So we're going to get an account of what the dream actually was. Continue.
Khan. Behold, a noise of a tumult with thunder and earthquakes and uproar in the land. And behold, 2 great dragons came forth, ready to fight, and their cry was great.
2 great what?
2 great dragons came forth.
2 great dragons. So again, this is the Most High using in this dream. These 2 dragons is a metaphor. And we're going to see what this metaphor, who it describes. And the Bible is full of metaphors and similes. So we have to understand when you are reading this Bible could only be understood by the men and the priests and the prophets of the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA.
Continue.
Yeah, continue.
And behold, two great dragons came forth, ready to fight, and their cry was great. And at their cry, all nations were prepared to battle, and they might fight against the righteous people.
And that they may fight against the righteous people. Who are these righteous people? These righteous people are the children of Israel. Continue.
Verse 8. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish, affliction and great uproar upon earth.
And great uproar upon earth. So this is where it's basically talking about war. Continue.
And the whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and they were ready to perish.
So at this time, we were in a position where it looking like it didn't have no hope. But at the end of the day, we had to cry to the Most High.
Right.
In sackcloth and ashes. And this is what the nation of Israel did under captivity at that point in time. Continue.
Verse 10. Then they cried unto the Most High, and upon their cry, as it were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. The light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exalted, and devoured the glorious. Now, when Mordecai, who had seen this dream, and what the Most High had determined to do, was awake, he bare this dream in mind, and until night, by all means, was desirous to know it.
When he had this dream was bothering him, as how we would say that in our slang. This dream was real dread. It was heavy. You understand? So it was something that disturbed him a lot. You understand? Some people have so-called have bad dreams and they ain't sure what it is. You understand? So even with that now, he was desirous of understanding what this dream really meant.
Right.
Before all these things actually unfolded. So continue.
Additions of Esther, chapter 12, verse 1. And Mordecai took his rest in the court with Gabata and Terah and two eunuchs of the king and keepers of the palace. And he heard their devices and searched out their purposes and learned that they were about to lay hands upon Artaxerxes, the king. And so he certified the king of them.
So you see what's going on here now is that Mordecai being part of the king's court, basically he working at a particular department in the realm of the king, right? So during that time, two men was basically plotting because they had some grievance with the king. They plotting to basically assassinate the king at that time. So Mordecai heard what was going on, and when he hear, he said, all right, this is something that is serious. And what he did, as the scripture said, so he certified the king. So he basically go and pass on the information to the king that he heard that so and so plot is going to take place. And we're going to read exactly what took place after that. Continue.
Verse 3. Then the king examined the two eunuchs, and after that they had confessed it, they were strangled.
So we see here, then the king examined the two eunuchs. So what you all think that examination was about? The luck here. All I think that examination is. Two men plotted to kill you. So these two men were well examined. You understand? By probably the king's men. They were interrogated. And when they confessed that, yeah, we wanted to, destroy the king, kill the king, they say, yeah, what? They were strangled. And they strangled, as we also read in Esther, in the book of Esther, in Old Testament, they were basically hanged.
Right.
Right? Continue.
Verse 4. And the king made a record of these things, and Mordecai also wrote thereof. So the king commanded Mordecai to serve in the court, and for this he rewarded him.
And for this he rewarded him. So even when we serve so-called heathens or in a heathenistic environment, because even now as today, you understand, we are under the oppression of the heathens. You understand?
Right.
We have to work for them, we have to buy clothes, everything we have to get, do, or use. Our oppressors have control of it.
Right.
You understand? So this is where, even in this unrighteous scenario, we can still be righteous and be rewarded for it. And we're going to continue to see where this, what Mordecai did, also extended grace through the Most High to save the nation of Israel.
Right.
Continue.
Verse 6. Howbeit, a man, the son of Amathadus, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of the two eunuchs of the king.
So we see here now, Haman, which is Haman, also pronounced from the version of Esther in the Old Testament, right? The Agagite, which is really, he's a descendant of the so-called Jewish man. Understand? He's a descendant of the so-called, what we call Ashkenazi Jews.
Right.
Right? The so-called Jewish man today. He descends from those people, those same evil. And again, they are our enemies.
Right.
They have always been our enemies from since then to now.
Right.
That is like even when Saul got the commandment to utterly destroy them, because he didn't, he allowed this remnant, this seed, to continue. Right? And we see even then to now where they have always come in and found seats of high power and try to use that power to destroy the nation of Israel.
Right.
Continue.
Esther chapter 13 and verse 1. The copy of the letters was this. The great king Artaxerxes writed these things to the princes and governors that are under him, from India unto Ethiopia, in the 107 and 20 provinces. After that, I came Lord over many nations, and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness. I propose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the uttermost coast, to renew peace, which is desired of all men.
All right, so this is the letter that the king wrote. And this is basically he saying, well, you know, after he conquered everything now, he destroyed and conquered all his nations, to say basically he wants peace now. Continue.
Verse 3. Now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, a man that excelled in wisdom among us, and was approved of his constant good, will and steadfastly fidelity, and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms, honorably intended by us, cannot go forward.
So we see here now where this heathen, Haman, who is a descendant of the so-called Jewish man today, he was in that position of power, on that seat of power, and again trying to use his authority, his position of second to the king, to try to destroy the nation of Israel, trying to be able to subvert and come in and, you know, bring all these little things in the ears of the king to destroy us. And we're going to see how, basically, see how we lay it out, that we do not follow the customs of the king, which is true, because we follow the laws of our forefathers that was laid down through the Most High, through our King Yahushua. Came down from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, through the nation of Israel. And these laws are contrary to the laws of other nations. So not even wherever we are always a separate people, a holy people, Kodash in the Hebrew. We are always separate from other nations. And they try to use this now to destroy us. Continue.
Arankan. Seeing then, we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in strange manner of their laws.
Differing in what?
In strange manner of their laws.
In strange manner of their laws. Our laws are diverse. I think it's in Deuteronomy 4 and 6. But because somebody else bring that for me, please. We're saying these nations, this nation have laws that are different. And then they will see how great our laws are.
Answer.
What?
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore and do them.
Keep what?
Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
This is our wisdom and our understanding in sight of the nations. So all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are to keep the laws of the Most High. Don't study a Christian priest. The laws of the Most High are not done away with. And come into the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, where you get the proper understanding of these laws of the scriptures. These laws belong to us, only us, no other nation, no other race. The so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Indian man. Continue.
Karankan. An evil affected to our state, working all the mischief they can that our kingdom may not be firmly established.
May not be firmly established. So you see here where the king's Haman or a man in this rendition saying that our laws and our customs are different than every other nation that is here. Let's continue on Deuteronomy 4 and 6.
Answer. Which shall hear these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
That this nation is a wise and understanding people, because we follow the laws and the commandments of the Most High. And even today, we keep these laws and these commandments. Every nation under the sun will see that we are a wise and understanding people. So, all black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Today we are celebrating the Feast of Purim, which is a memorial, a remembrance of what our forefathers did. And the only way that they were able to keep and to survive this or all these captivities was more so because there was a remnant of people that kept the laws and the commandments of the Most High. And even to today, commanding General YAHANNA has continued that tradition to keeping the laws, the commandments of the Most High to lead this nation of Israel today.
Right.
Under the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
And we are not affiliated with any religious group or organization.
Right.
So we just continue in the book of Esther.
Karankan. Verse 6. Therefore, we have commanded that all they that are signified in writing unto you by a man, who is ordained over the affairs, and is next unto us, shall all, with their wives and children, be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month, Adar, of this present year.
So you see, they make this plot and this plan now to destroy us all at once, man, woman, and child. And if you look at what it said, and it said, a man who ordained over the affairs is next unto us, shall all, with their wives, children, be utterly destroyed by the sword by their enemies. So they knew that they were the enemies of the nation of Israel.
Right.
They knew it. Even though we were under captivity under this king who had 127 provinces. So we were separate from these other nations, even though we were under captivity. And they understood and knew that we were their enemies. And we understand that we were their enemies. So that's why we even kept to ourselves. And here now, a man, through the king, got permission to send letters into all these provinces to basically the enemy of all the Jews in these provinces, to destroy them on this particular day of that year, all at once. Continue.
Verse 7. That they who of old and now are also malicious may in one day with violence go into the grave, and so ever hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled and without trouble.
So basically the saying here, with violence to go into the grave, the one slaughter. And after we slaughter the Jews, we are no trouble again. That was the same basically. Continue.
Verse 8. Then Mordecai thought upon all the works of the Lord, and made his prayer unto him, saying, O Lord, Lord, the King Almighty, for the whole world is in thy power. And if thou hast appointed to save Israel,
If Lord has appointed to what?
if thou hast appointed to save Israel,
Appointed to save Israel and Israel only. He prayed, he said, East Indian, Chinese, so-called white man, so-called African. He said, appointed to save Israel and Israel alone. Continue.
There is no man that can gainsay thee.
There is no man that can gainsay. So no matter what concoction, no matter what plot or whatever plot you have in your mind, whatever God you think you're serving, no man, no king, no prime minister, no president, not even Trump, as some people look at him as a god. Nobody can gainsay against the children of Israel. Continue.
Verse 10. But thou hast made heaven and earth, and all the wondrous things under the heaven. Thou art Lord of all things, and there is no man that can resist thee, which art the Lord.
And there is no man that could resist thee, which is the Lord. Continue.
Verse 12. Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest Salakia. Verse 12. Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest, Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor for any desire of glory, that I did not bow down to proud a man.
So you're seeing here where Mordecai is basically stating his case towards the Most High. He's saying that thou knowest, Lord, that I was neither in contempt nor pride. So he was not a man. He was going about his business. But because of the laws and the commandments, because of the way that the Most High has put us as a people, we know this is how we're supposed to be. And these laws and these commandments make us a particular way. So because of what a man thought was disrespect, is something that we as a people understood that we only supposed to honor the Most High in reverence. But these heathens love to be worshipped as gods. Continue.
Verse 13. For I could have been content with goodwill for the salvation of Israel to kiss the soles of his feet. But I did this, that I might not prefer the glory of man above the glory of the Most High. Neither will I worship any but thee, O power, neither will I do it in pride.
So you see, basically saying here, you're going to worship no man. You understand? But he said if he had to kiss the foot to save the nation, you understand? He could do that. See, for I could have been content with good will for the salvation of Israel to kiss the soles of his feet. That is the level, that is the mindset that Mordecai went to be able just to see, because he counted himself as nothing to save the nation of Israel.
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
So what? Even Paul mentioned that.
Yeah.
He said that he wished himself to be accused.
That's right. But because you can pull that scripture, man.
Yeah,
That's
wish
good.
itself to be a curse, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's showing you now that again, these reports and them, it's true. It's true.
Because that's true.
It's true.
And this as well would show, you know, the level we should be at as a people and as a priest and prophet of the Most High. These men selflessly put themselves on the line with the nation of Israel. Understand? So much so they wish that they themselves would be destroyed or humiliated just for the salvation of their brothers.
Right.
And that is true brotherhood, you know, being performed there. Continue. It's like you want to put the yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Can. Verse 15. And now, O Lord, power and King, spare thy people, for their eyes are upon us to bring us to naught. Yea, they desire to destroy the inheritance that thou, Salakia, that had been thine from the beginning. Despise not the portion which thou hast delivered out of Egypt for thy own self. Hear my prayer, and be merciful unto thine inheritance. Turn our sorrow into joy, that we may live, O power.
Continue.
And praise thy name, and destroy not the mouths of them that praise thee, O Lord.
That's right.
All Israel in like manner cried most earnestly unto the Lord, because their death was before their eyes.
So you see where the whole of Israel went into prayer and fasting. Yeah, go ahead up this watch.
Book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
For I wish that myself were cursed from Christ for my brethren.
For who?
For my brethren.
For my brethren.
My kinsmen.
Kinsmen.
According to the flesh.
According to the flesh.
Verse 4. Who are Israelite, to whom pertaineth the adoption.
The what?
The adoption.
The adoption of the nation of Israel.
And the glory.
And the glory.
And the covenants.
And the covenants.
And the giving of the law.
And the giving of the law.
And the service of the Most High.
Service of the Most High.
And
yes.
the promises.
And the promises. So no matter how you look at it, this Bible belongs only to the nation of Israel. You understand? Every single thing that was called out, the services, you understand? Only an Israelite can be a priest. Only an Israelite can give and teach the law. No one else. So don't feel a Chinese could come in, an East Indian, a so-called white, so-called African. This book only belongs to the nation of Israel. The adoption only belongs to the nation of Israel. And that adoption was the so-called two nations, so-called Judah and so-called Israel. That was when the nation split in 2 Kings. Understand? And in Ezekiel, they talk about the two sticks coming back together, two nations, Ephraim and Judah, coming back together as one under our king, Yahushua. Understand? Today, the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Indians, of bringing back all these tribes together as one. And today, the person who is doing that today is Commanding General YAHANNA in the I.S.U.P.K. That is the man that's leading Israel at this point in time. Continue.
Esther chapter 14 verse 1. Queen Esther also, being in fear of death, resorted unto the Lord, and laid away her glorious apparel, and put on the garments of anguish and mourning. And instead of precious ointments, she covered her head with ashes and dung. And she humbled her body greatly, and all the places of her joy she filled with her torn hair.
So you see, this is the point where Esther now also went into prayer and fasting. Because what we read yesterday in the book of Esther, she did a 3-day fast.
Right.
When she spoke to her cousin Mordecai, so let them go into prayer of 3 days of fast and pray. And this was a custom. Fasting and praying is a custom in the nation of Israel. You understand? And this is something that this is to afflict your body. You understand? Because the body is something that if you don't have control over, it could lead you in all kind of directions. And through prayer and fasting is a subjection unto the powers, to the Most High. Continue.
And verse 3. And she prayed unto the Lord God of Israel, saying, O my Lord, thou only art our king. Help me, desolate woman, which have no helper but thee. For my danger is in my hand. For my youth up, I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, O Lord, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors, for a perpetual inheritance, and thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them.
So you see here now where this is probably one of the best examples of how our women in the nation of Israel supposed to have that kind of humility, you understand, towards the Most High. You understand? That kind of humility is what is needed in the nation of Israel. So despite Esther was in the position where she was, because she would be like today, you know, in a high seat. So you could probably put it today as how Michelle Obama was with the so-called African, Barack Obama. She was in a position of high estate. You understand? And this is in the position where she humbled herself so she can be able to do what is necessary to save an entire nation, which is the nation of Israel. You want to say something? Continue.
Verse 6. And now we have sinned before thee. Therefore hast thou given us into the hand of our enemies, because we worship their gods. O Lord, thou art righteous. Nevertheless, it satisfied them not that we are in bitter captivity, but they have stricken their hands with their idols.
So you see, she's saying, telling the Most High that we have sinned because we have followed the idols of these heathens. And you see it today, our people follow what? Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, atheists, everything under the sun except following the laws and the commandments of the Most High. Every time you tell a Negro, keep the laws, all of a sudden, you have some problem. And we continue to be destroyed by these idols that we continue to worship. Caesar Borgia, that rock in Mecca. And we see through the Most High, through the power of the Most High, Mecca is like a ghost town. They're realizing now that rock can save them. You understand? Mecca is a desert as it's supposed to be, a wilderness, because the Most High has brought his plagues upon these nations. So let's see how good Allah will cure coronavirus. Continue.
Verse 9. They that they will abolish the thing that thou with thy mouth has ordained, and destroying thine inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee, and quench the glory of thy house and of thine altar, and open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols, and to magnify a fleshly king forever. O Lord, give not thy scepter unto them that be nothing, and let them not laugh at our fall, but turn thy device upon themselves, and make him an example that had begun this against us.
So she's praying that, she said, reminding the Most High that don't let these heathens feel that they're greater than the Most High. You understand? Say, oh Lord, give not thy scepter unto them that be nothing. You understand? And I think in the Apocrypha, Babukasha, pull that from please. You understand? Say that they know that they are nothing. You understand? More than a drop in the bucket. Right. Babukasha. And you can see even then they understood that these other nations, as compared to the nation of Israel, it ain't worth nothing. Go ahead.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 56. As for the other people.
As for who?
As for the other people.
As for the other people.
Which also come from Adam.
Which also come from Adam. Now, they made it plain. Yes, they come from Adam. All of you come from Adam. But there's still a difference. Continue.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
You said as what?
They are nothing.
That they are nothing. Continue.
But be like unto spittle.
But be unto spittle. Now somebody might be talking and you see a little thing fly out of the mouth. That is what the nations are. That is what Ezra is saying, that all the other nations on this earth, so-called Chinese, African, so-called white, so-called Asian, no matter what it is, once you're not the nation of Israel, you are like spittle. Yeah?
And just to bring it in real terms,
in context.
Stop spitting boulders and then.
Exactly. Stop spitting boulders, according to Officer Y.A.P.K. And that will show you how minor these nations are in the eyes of the Most High. But yet now, even today, these nations that are spittle have us under subjection. And the reason why they have us under subjection is because we deny the laws and commandments of the Most High. So again, come and serve the true King, our King Yahweh Shai, under our King Yahweh. Come and learn the laws, the commandments of the Most High. Come into the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, where we'll be reprogram your mind.
Right.
Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. And we see in the scriptures here proof of our history and of our culture that keeping these laws will save your life.
Right.
Save you from drugs, save you from child molestation, save you from murder, rape, and pillage of these oppressors. And it will bring brotherhood with the son and amongst the sisterhood, and will raise righteous men, and there'll be no more abortion and black crime in this nation of Israel. Continue.
Verse 12. Remember, O Lord, make thyself known in time of our affliction.
In time of Salakia, go ahead.
And give me boldness, O King of the nations, and Lord of all power.
Lord of all power. So she basically certifying the power of the Most High. Let's finish off on 2 Ezra 6. You can read over.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam,
also come from Adam,
thou hast said they are nothing.
Thou hast said they are nothing.
But be like unto spittle, and has lengthened the abundance from them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
And that's the Most High. So that's the Most High gangsters. You have lightened them until a drop out of a bucket. Nobody cares about a drop that falls out of a bucket. Let me bring it to a bucket. You have a cup, a glass of water in your hand. If one drop fall out of that, you don't care. Much less a bucket. You understand? So this is what the Most High think of all the other nations. And this is not my words. This is what is written in the scriptures. So let's fall back on the editions of Esther.
Verse 13. Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Turn his heart to hate him that forgiveth, that fighteth against us, that there may be an end of him and of all that are like-minded to him. But deliver us with thy hand, and help me that am desolate, and which have no other help but thee.
So she's saying here, give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. And the lion here would represent the king. So she knows she has to go before the king. And she asking the Most High to give her the words. I think also, Babu Kasha, is I think the New Testament, where I was paraphrasing, where they say in that day, when they carry before the courts or we know when we are captured or carried among or before the heathens. Babakosha. Don't study what you go think and what you go see. Understand? If anybody can find it. That basically saying don't put the words that she's supposed to say when she reached before this king. Most High is going to put those words in her mouth so that the nation of Israel will be saved. And not only that, to change the mind of the king and the devices that were set, those devices would fall back on that wicked man that wants to destroy the nation of Israel. The so-called Jew, or who he was a descendant of the so-called Jews today. You understand? So-called Amalekite. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
Can. Verse 14. But deliver us with thine hand, and help me that am desolate, and which have no other help but thee. Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous, and abhor the bed of the uncircumcised, and of all the heathen.
That's a righteous sister. That's an extremely righteous sister. Even though, you know, at times they may have a carnality, she understood. She understood who she was and who the heathens were. Let's read over that verse one more time.
Can. Verse 15. Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous.
She hates the glory of the unrighteous, which is these other nations. The glory that these other nations want to have against us, she hates that. Continue.
Can. And abhor the bed of the uncircumcised, and of all the heathen.
And of all the heathen. She didn't say some. She said of all the heathen. Continue.
Can. Verse 16. Thou knowest my necessity, for I abhor the sign of my high estate.
She abhorred the sign of her high estate. So she basically saying it this way, that she hated the big position she had. You understand? Just as the example I brought earlier of Michelle Obama being the wife of Barack Obama when he was president. In comparison to that, she was saying she hated that position. Continue.
Can. Which is upon my head in the days wherein I show myself, and that I abhor it as a menstruous rag.
And she abhorred or hated as a menstruous rag. Now, that menstruous rag, for those who probably don't understand, that menstruous rag is when a woman is having a period. You understand? That menstruous rag today would be like one of those pads or probably tampon, whatever you call it. That she hates it like that. It's something that's nasty and disgusting. You understand? It's something to be refused, something to be rejected. Continue.
Can. And that I wear it when I am private by myself.
You see? Continue.
Can. Verse 17. And that thine handmaid had not eaten at a man's table, and that I have not greatly esteemed the king's feast, nor drunk the wine of the drink offerings. Neither had thine handmaid any joy since the day that I was brought hither to his presence. But indeed, O Lord, power of Abraham.
So basically, she's saying from since the day that she came into the presence of the king, she didn't like where she was, but she was there because they are under captivity, and she was under the word of the king. You understand? And even being under subjection to the king, Mordecai was always there to give her righteous advice. Continue.
Can. O thou mighty power above all, hear the voice of the fallen, and deliver us out of the hands of the mischievous, and deliver me out of my fear.
And deliver out of her fear. Yeah, this scripture? All right. What?
60.
Additions in the Apocrypha, additions to Esther, verse 15 and verse 1.
That's a lot of people.
Additions of Esther, verse 15 and verse 1. And upon the third day, when she had ended her prayers, she laid away her mourning garments and put on her glorious apparel.
Oui, as it is said. She put away her mourning garments and put on her glorious garments, or glorious apparel. So we understood that she did 3 days of fasting and praying, and after that, she makes herself look good. Continue.
And being glorious, adorning, after she had called upon the Most High.
And being gloriously adorned. So she went all out. She decked from head to toe. Continue.
Who is the beholder and savior of all things. She took 2 maids with her, and upon one she leaned and carried herself daintily.
So she had some swag. She put on the best. You understand? She jumped out, looking, as we say, she look wet. You understand? For those who understand that Israel talk. You understand? So you people go think, no, she wasn't soaking wet with water. She looked excellent. You understand? She came dripping. You understand? All fine jewelry, best clothes. And she said, and the scripture says she carried herself daintily. You understand? Leaning on one of her servants. You understand? So she had some swag walking inside because she was going to face the king. Continue.
And the other followed, bearing up her train.
So I just see as now again, we are the salt of the earth. You understand? And also this is where they get the whole wedding train, you know, as so-called white man now steal again the greatest kleptomania on the face of the earth is the so-called our oppressor, so-called white man. Our oppressor is the greatest kleptomania. The greatest thing he ever invented is the patent office, where he could steal everything. That's the only thing he did. He is the great kleptomania. He can't do nothing else other than steal, kill, and destroy. The great deceiver, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Continue.
And she was ruddy.
And she was what?
And she was ruddy.
Which means she was beautiful. Go ahead.
Through the perfection of her beauty.
Through the perfection of her beauty. I mean, you can't put it better than that. She was good looking through the perfection of her beauty. Continue.
And her countenance was cheerful and very admirable, but her heart was in anguish for fear.
And this is an excellent example of a sister being able to control her emotions.
Right.
A lot of sisters today in have a clue how to control their emotions. Every little thing on their mind, you see it on them one time. They're showing their face, they're upset, you're seeing it. They're angry, you're seeing it. They're sad, you're seeing it. They have no control of their emotions, especially when they're out there dealing, whether it's beyond work or even with their own husband. But this sister, this righteous sister, Esther, was able in the essence of danger to go and face the king, where she could have lost her life. She put on that cheerful demeanor. And as the scripture said, her countenance was cheerful and very amiable, but her heart was in anguish for fear. And to be in anguish and fear is something different. God of Sister Wap.
So like again, that's why we know well, we always commend these sisters in the I.S.U.P.K.
Damn right.
Under Commanding General.
Under Commanding General. Yeah.
Always commend them. Because,
that's right.
You know, to sit down for this 90 days, as we just say, you know, to wash yourself from all these filth, all these doctrines and these philosophies that, you know, that they have been taught throughout this society. Again, we must commend the sisters, and we must make that commendation again under command of General YAHANNA for raising up righteous brothers.
Righteous
brothers, you know, to impart this truth unto these sisters so they will know their place, just as the scripture saying in 1 Corinthians chapter 13.
That's right.
You know, that order, to keep that order and that subjection under this truth.
And that could only happen under the I.S.U.P.K, under commanding General YAHANNA. We're going to raise righteous women in the nation of Israel. That's right. So what are they for that? Continue.
Verse 6. Then having passed through all the doors, she stood before the king, who sat upon his royal throne.
This is the moment of truth now. Continue.
And was clothed with all his robes of majesty, all glittering with gold and precious stones. And he was very dreadful.
So you have all the wealth of the kingdom. So he and all basically drip out. You understand? All the rubies, diamonds, clothes, gold, you name it. And he sit down on his throne. Continue.
Then lifting up his countenance, that shone with majesty, he looked very fiercely upon her. And the queen fell down and was pale and fainted and bowed herself the head of the maid that went before her.
You understand? So when the king looked at her, she basically kind of faint off on the maid because she was walking daintily with one of the maids who was in front, and the other maid was holding the trail hanging in the back. And when the king looked at her, she basically fell off on that maid that was walking in front of her. Continue. So she was pale and fainted. Continue.
Then the Most High.
Then who?
Then the Most High.
Then the Most High
changed the spirit of the king into mindless,
right?
Who in fear leaped from his throne.
Who in what?
In fear leaped from his throne and took her in his arms till she came to herself again.
That was a bad sister. She basically put a good one on it. You understand? Through the understanding, through the obedience of the Most High. You understand? She had this heathen king who is in charge of 127 kingdoms. She had him eaten out of her hands. You understand? And the Most High, as scripture said, the Most High changed the spirit of the king, who in fear leaped, you understand, and run. You understand? He basically run and grab she and hold she like, you know, God, baby, what's going on? You understand? Continue.
And comforted her with loving words, and said unto her, Esther.
That's a bad sister. Go ahead.
What is the matter?
Continue.
I am thy brother. Be of good cheer.
So basically, he started to beg now. You understand? When she done drop that on him, that king, this heathen king, started to beg because of the beauty and the grace, you understand, and the daintiness of this sister. Just that approach alone, she mashed him up, as we would say. You understand? She cut him down piece by piece. And it was very strategic and it was very tactful. But she really dropped that on him. And again, the sisters in the nation of Israel are the baddest women in the entire earth. And especially the women who are the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA.
Right.
That's nothing better than these women.
Right.
So you women of Israel, so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Indian, if you want to see true beauty, if you want to be beauty as how Esther had that type of beauty, come into class.
That's right.
Do your 90 days. Get your Hebrew name. and follow righteous men, the priests and prophets of the Most High, under the I.S.U.P.K, under commanding General YAHANNA. Continue.
Verse 10. Thou shalt not die, though our commandment be general. Come near.
So right now, this king here, I said, you get master, you can't do nothing again. This man say, hey, what? He went to break his own law. He changed up now. He said, well, the law is not the law, just general. Don't worry yourself. He said, you don't worry yourself. Calm down. You know, I the king. You know, I go handle it. Don't worry yourself. You understand? He just threw his own law out the window. You understand? Just to please Esther. You understand? The way she was looking. He wanted to do every single thing in his power to make sure she was happy. Continue.
And so he held up his golden scepter and laid it upon her neck, and embraced her, and said, Speak unto me. Then said she unto him, I saw thee, my Lord, as an angel of the Most High, and my heart was troubled for fear of thy majesty.
This woman, she's spitting her game. Like there's some memes on Facebook, you know, this nigga spitting. It's a lucky. Trust me. She started to put the game on him now. She already had him where she wanted him, so she's sealing the deal right now. Continue.
And embraced her and said, verse 14, For wonderful art thou, Lord, and thy countenance is full of grace.
Continue.
Verse 15. And she said, and she was speaking, she fell down for faintness.
He's still working on it. Continue. Verse 16.
Yeah. Then the king was troubled, and all his servants comforted her.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, that was it. When she dropped that one and she fainted again, that was it. He said, then the king was troubled, and all his servants comforted her. So everybody who was inside there at that point in time, rush. Everybody want to make sure Esther good. You understand? Where you want to eat? Where you want to drink? You want a pillow? You want to lie down?
Yeah.
Just to make sure, because the king done trouble there. He want to do every single thing in his power to make sure that this woman happy at the end of the day. Right. So at that point in time, she had them in the bar. You understand? She had them in the bar. Signed, sealed, and delivered. So we're gonna see coming up to the latter end how when after she spoke to the king, what took place and how the plot that a man wanted to destroy the nation of Israel, how that plot was diffused and turned against them. Continue verse 16.
The book of Esther, editions of Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 16 and verse 1. The great king Artaxerxes unto princes and governors of 120 provinces from India unto Ethiopia, and unto all our faithful subjects, greetings.
So this is a letter that is being written. And we can see the vast area or the vast kingdom that this king had at that point in time. From India to Ethiopia. So he was in control of an extremely large territory.
Right.
Continue.
Many, the more often they are honored with the great bounty of the gracious princes, the more proud they are waxen.
Right.
And endeavor to hurt not our subjects only, but not being able to bear abundance do take in hand to practice also against those that do them good.
You understand? Continue.
Verse 4. And take not only thankfulness away from among men, but also lift up with the glorious words of lewd persons that were never good.
That will?
That were never good.
That were never good. And these nations, these so-called heathens, our so-called oppressors, will never good. Continue.
They think to escape the justice of the Most High.
So if all these nations, all these people feel who have poured drugs in our neighborhoods, who have called us pet, cockroach, pests, monkeys, every byword under the sun, who have put syphilis in our communities, those who are killing our young men in John and Lavendale and Sealots, you understand? Who perpetuate Rasta City and Muslim in our communities and continue to destroy us with drugs and guns. All they will escape the justice of the Most High. These heathens didn't escape it then, and you all will never escape it now. Because there are no young men who living in Lavendale, John, Sealots, who have the resources to bring in drugs and guns in our communities to destroy. These other nations are doing that. And the Most High is going to bring judgment to you all. And you think you will escape it, but you will not escape it. Continue.
That seeth all things and hath evil, oft times also fair speeches, that put in trust to manage their friends' affairs, hath caused many that are in authority to be partakers of innocent blood.
Of innocent blood. Continue.
And hath enwrapped them in remediless calamities, beguiling with the falsehood and deceit of their lewd disposition the innocency and goodness of princes.
So you're basically saying here, they're beguiling with falsehood and deceit. And these what these other nations do. They lie and they deceive.
That's right.
They pretend they like you.
Right.
They pretend they want to do good for you. Come, we'll bring these laws. And we want to help the community. Or we want to come and we want to bring this program. But all these things are lies, just to come to seek and destroy the nation of Israel. They want to bring family planning. They want to bring abortion clinics. They want to bring, so-called social programs. But all these things are used to destroy us. You understand? You want a food card? You have to throw your husband out of the house. You understand? These are the kind of deceptive and nasty tactics that our enemies and our oppressors use to destroy us as a people. Continue.
60. Let's start verse 16, verse 6. They beguiling with the falsehood and deceit of their
disposition
in innocence and godliness of princes.
And goodness of princes. They continue.
Verse 7. Now you may see this, as we have declared, not so much by ancient histories, as you may, if you search what had been wickedly done of late through the pestilence behavior of them that are unworthily placed in authorities.
So you're basically saying, yeah, look too far back in history. You're seeing what wickedness that these persons, when they put in authority, what they do. And the same thing back then is the same thing now.
Right.
Where you're seeing these heathens are put in position of authority, and you see the wickedness that they continue to do and perpetuate in the nation of Israel. You understand? The school, the prison pipeline. You see social welfare. All these are things that are used blacklisting. You understand? Where they control all the banks, they control the universities, they control all these places where when we go to access these kind of services, they basically what? Cut us off. You can't go any banks to get no loans. When you want to go to school, if you want to go send your child to a medical school and you go before the medical board to be able to go through the process, what? They cut us off, they blacklist us, they bring in all their own first, and then when there's no more room, they say, sorry, we are no more room. You understand? And these are the kind of tactics and things that they use to keep us back and to destroy us as a nation. Continue? Yeah, so go ahead.
So again, the posting the I.S.U.P.K period.
That's right.
And really bringing out the understanding again of this sister.
Esther.
In like manner, the awareness as sisters, keeping that sisterhood.
That's right.
Looking out for that head over them, and really that awareness again, keeping the nation of Israel.
Keeping the nation of Israel.
With that brotherhood again, and really identifying through the Spirit of the Most High and Christ, to really uphold and to keep this nation together, because again, society again have done a work on our sisters.
That's right.
And these records now by our sisters again holding fast to this truth and coming into this truth under the righteousness and order under command of YAHANNA.
That's right.
Will diminish all doubts and all false teachings.
That's it.
That the society portray on them, and really acknowledge their head.
That's right.
Scripture say, and be in order.
That's it. Just to destroy that whole Christianity and feminism.
That's right.
That has been pushed and forced on the truths of our women, so that they will want disrespect the men, disrespect the household. But here when you're seeing a righteous sister, a great example of honoring, you understand, the men who the Most High set upon her life. You understand? She didn't go against the word of Mordecai. You understand? Because she was brought up righteously. You understand? And she continued to keep the laws of her forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right.
Continue.
Verse 8. And we must take care for time to come that your kingdom may be quiet and peaceable for all men.
Yeah, continue.
Verse 9. Both by changing our purpose and always judging things that are evident with more equal proceedings.
Yeah, continue.
Verse 10. For a man, a Macedonian, the son of Amata, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our godliness. From our goodness, and as a stranger received it of us. Verse 11. Had so far forth obtained the favor that we show toward every nation, as that he was called our father, and was continually honored of all the next person unto the king.
Right, so just basically showing where a man, basically showing that he wasn't nowhere in a so-called kingly lineage, but he still get power to reach up almost to reach next to the king. Continue.
Verse 12. But he had not buried his great dignity when about to deprive us of our kingdom and life. Verse 13. having by manifold and cunning deceit sought of us destruction, as well of Mordecus, who served our lives and continually procured our good, and also blameless Esther, partaker of our kingdom, with their whole nation.
So you see it again, props to Mordecai and to Esther. You understand? As I said, Mordecus, who saved our life and continually procured our good. You understand? And this is what we're doing here now in the I.S.U.P.K. under commanding General YAHANNA. He continues to procure, he continues to take care. So the amount of men and women that are in Israel, that the man who's heading Israel now, commanding General YAHANNA, has so-called helped, you understand, and continue to raise righteous men and righteous women. You understand? Commanding General YAHANNA is selfless in what he does. And he continues, you understand, to help the nation of Israel. Yeah. And continues to feed the nation of Israel in all manners and all forms. He continues to feed us in everything that is righteous towards the Most High.
That's right.
In the I.S.U.P.K. Continue.
Verse 14. For by these means he taught, finding us destitute of friends, who have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians. Verse 15. But we find that the Jews, whom this wicked wretch had delivered to the utter destruction, are no evildoers, but live by most just laws.
Yes. I say, but we find that the Jews, whom this wicked wretch, understand, had delivered to utter destruction, are no evildoers, but live by most just laws. So basically showing that a man, basically, as a wicked, evil man, as these so-called Jews are, you understand, so-called Amalekites in the scriptures, they are wicked, they are evil, you understand, and they sought to destroy all the true Jews, the true children of Israel, who just want to follow the laws of the Most High, who will do them no harm. Continue.
Verse 16. And that they be children of the Most High and most mighty living power, who had ordered the kingdom both unto us and to our progenitors in the most excellent manner.
Can't say it no better. Continue.
Verse 17. Wherefore you shall do well not to put in execution the letter sent unto you by Aman, the son of Amatha. Verse 18.
Amada.
Verse 18. For he that was the worker of these things is hung at the gates of Susa with all his family. God, who ruleth all things, speedily rendering vengeance to him according to his deserts.
So you see here where now this letter is being sent out, basically telling the people that what was sent out before, the orders that was sent out before by Aman to destroy the nation of Israel, they are going through. You understand? That command is not to be observed, and it's shown here now where that same Aman he and his family was destroyed. Understand? And the Most High did that. Understand? Through righteousness, through Mordecai, and through Esther. Continue. 19.
Verse 19. Therefore, you shall publish the copy of this letter in all places, that the Jews may freely live after their own laws.
That's right. Continue.
Verse 20. And you shall aid them, that even the same day, being the 13th day of the 12th month, Adar, they may be avenged on them, who in the time of their affliction shall set upon them.
So he's saying this letter sent out is basically letting you know that this is supposed to be published all over the kingdom, right? That the Jews may freely live after their own laws. So all they're not supposed to bother us. We keeping the laws and the commandments of the Most High. We eating no pork, crab, lobster, and shrimp. We're not committing no homosexual acts. We're not committing no adultery. We're not aborting our babies. Right? But because we're keeping these laws, you still have something against us. These righteous laws of the Most High. And in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA, we're going to continue to keep these laws and continue to pull our brothers and sisters out of Christianity and Islam and every other ridiculous religion under the sun. Right. Continue.
Verse 21. For the Almighty God had turned to joy unto them the day wherein the chosen people should have perished.
That's right. Good.
Verse 22. You shall therefore among your solemn feasts keep in and high day with all feasting.
And that's what we've been doing for these past 2 days. Really eat, drink, and be merry to celebrate what has been done by our foreparents and to understand the history, because this history is to be taught to each generation that comes, that they will understand that we have a most high power who can and will redeem us from our enemies. Continue.
Verse 23. That both now and hereafter there may be safety to us and well afflicted Persians, but to those which conspire against us a memorial of destruction.
That's right. You're going to see this day is a day of celebration for us, a day of joy, but for the other people, for the other nation, because they were destroyed, is a sorrowful day for them to remember. Continue.
Verse 24. Therefore, every city and country whatsoever which shall not do according to these things shall be destroyed with mercy, with fire and sword, and shall be made not only unpassable for men, but also most hateful to wild beasts and fowl forever.
So you're saying if we don't keep this order, wherever and whoever that place is, it will be utterly destroyed. That not even wild beasts or even birds will even want to come. And that is the power of our power, our most high power, our king and our shine in the deliverance of the nation of Israel. And these 2 days of this feast, we're going to continue to celebrate. And we're going to understand this through the laws and the commandments of the Most High. God of the And this is something we're going to continue to do in every single dwelling place where we are. No matter where it is around the world. No matter where the so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Indian are at, we're going to continue to keep these feasts in a memorial, in a remembrance of the things that our forefathers have done in these scriptures. This Bible belongs to you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. Coming to the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We are not affiliated with any other group or organization. Understand? And with that, we're going to pass the class to Priest and Officer Mike Watt.
This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3 verses 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of any increase of every penny you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, right? As you all know, this is the last day for the feast of or the memorial of Purim, right? And our upcoming holy convocation will be the 51st annual Passover.
That's right.
The 9th of April, sundown, right? And that will be at Westchester County Center, 198 Central Avenue, White Plains, New York, right? The Passover is $100 per person, right? And to book your hotels and whatever information you may need, you can call 719-673-5165, right? And also at the I.S.U.P.K email, which is isupkpassover@gmail.com. Remind Akim and Antwakium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, headbands, or scarf. And with that, you see, I imagine, stand and take these. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemaya, Kwadash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Baratiza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamaya, Natananawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknaw, Kasalaknaw, Kawatinaw, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Manasayawan, Abal, Awashainaw, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Ba'ala, Wataparat, I will love you. Aman.
What we just said in English is our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, and we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
We're going to say the blessings by Israel in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Yahweh Shai. Makala. Alahayim. Matazabia. Alawap Yahanna. Hasaranya. Hakayaliam. Wahakwatium. Yahweh. Bahashem. Yahushai. Tawada Aman.
Or just say blessings in English. It's bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angel. Commanding General YAHANNA. Generals. The captain. The officers. The troopers. And the sister. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
We're going to say the Hakak for the power. Pray for the power structure. In the Hebrew, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahasham,
Bahasham,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Babakashah,
Babakashah,
Natanawa,
Natanawa,
Akak,
Akak,
Akak, Larapa,
Larapa,
Kal Makala,
Kal Makala,
Wakal Manawa,
Makal Manawa,
Akak,
Akak,
Lataha,
Lataha,
Amatazarian,
Amatazarian,
Akak,
Akak,
Hakoyam,
Lahakoyam,
Amatayam,
Amatayam,
Akak,
Akak,
Ay Rakwa,
Irakawa,
Atamayala,
Amatala,
Lagarasham,
Lagarasham,
Bahasham,
Bahasham,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Tawada Aman,
Tawada Aman.
We just said power in English. Is Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushai.
In the name of Yahushai.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal.
Power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of disease.
All manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to cleanse the
The
leper.
power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
Cast them out.
Cast them out.
In the name of Yahushai.
In the name of Yahushai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
We're going to say now the curses. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
All things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushai.
Name of Yahushai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and
And
curses.
punishment and destruction.
And punishment and
To
destruction.
the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and
To
destruction.
the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasures.
The treasures.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
And refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
Enter into thy sanctuary.
Enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and
To
destruction.
the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nation.
And the nation.
And their drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
The court system.
Court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic
The
Church.
Pope.
Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinheads.
Fawzi-Kumatazi.
Fawzi-Kumatazi.
The gay movement.
Gay movement.
Lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airwaves.
And the airwaves.
The cable access channel.
Cable access channel.
And the radio channel.
And the radio channel.
Convict the spirit.
Convict the spirit
of any of thy people.
of any of thy people
that seek to stop us.
that seek to stop us
And bring swift destruction.
and bring swift
To
destruction
all the heathen.
to all the heathen
That stand in the way.
that stand in the way
Or try to stop
or
us.
try to stop
From
us
broadcasting your word.
from broadcasting your
Throughout
words
the planet Earth.
throughout the planet.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro
through the earth.
through the earth
And consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague
Let the plagues
shake the house.
shake the house
Of the thief.
of the thief
And the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahushai.
Let Yahushai,
Michael.
Michael,
And Gabriel.
and Gabriel
Come down with the flying saucer.
come down with the flying saucers
And punish all the heathen.
and punish all the heathen
That come up against us.
that come up against us
And speak thy word.
and speak thy word.
Cause it to be known.
Cause it to be known
By all.
by all.
That is the angels that have done it.
That is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to be spread through the media
Throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy
In the name
coming.
of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
What is it? Bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bahasham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Baraklanawa.
Barakanawa.
YAHANNA.
YAHANNA.
Wabaya.
Wabaya.
Saparia.
Saparia.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa.
Rapa.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Itisha,
Itisha.
Tazapa,
Tazapa.
Yapa,
Yapa.
Mapataza,
Mapataza.
Tamar,
Tamar. Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
General.
General.
Captain.
Captain.
Your officers.
Officers.
Troopers.
Troopers.
Sisters.
Sisters.
Children.
Children,
Barak Napash.
Barak Napash.
Kayalwana.
Kayalwana.
Shariah.
Shariah.
Koto and family.
Koto and family.
Philip family.
Philip family.
Alexis family.
Alexis family.
John family.
John family.
Kinti and family.
Kinti and family.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Generals.
Generals.
Captain.
Captains.
Officers.
Your officers.
Troopers. Yakar.
Yakar.
Matazar.
Matazar.
Radaf.
Radaf.
John family.
John family.
Alexis family.
Alexis family.
Philip family.
Philip family.
Richard family.
Richard's family.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
the generals,
generals,
captains,
captains,
the officers,
the officers,
the
the troopers,
the sisters,
sisters,
children,
children,
all the brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K,
all the brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K,
all the brothers and sisters fighting coming to
all the brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth.
Zion,
Zion, Wesleyan, Daniela, Brown family, Francois family, Chantel, Ashila, Trisha,
All the brothers and sisters fighting to come into the I.S.U.P.K.
all the brothers and sisters fighting to come to the I.S.U.P.K.
Mercy on the destroyer of Israel.
Have mercy on the destroyer of Israel.
The generals,
Generals,
captains,
captains,
officers,
the officers,
troopers,
the troopers,
sisters,
sisters,
Israel,
the Bawa, Afisha, Aliyah, Alicia, Teresa, Bahasham, Yahushai,
Wada Aman.
Walaman.
We just said in English, is Lord.
Lord,
In the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushai,
Bless us.
and Israel,
And Israel.
and the school,
Bless. Heal.
shield,
Protect.
protect
Our loved ones.
loved ones.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Sir, sisters, for your sake. Men of Israel, let's give the teacher a 130 salute. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Brakutah.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yashai Brakatum.
Yadamata. Sisters, can you please stand? Sir, turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, let's give the sisters a 130 salute. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Natam Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Repeat after me. Yahweh, Shema, I, Atan, Ba'Shem, Yahushai. Yadamata. That's it.